All right, got it. Okay, so before we jump into tonight's topic, just a couple of reminders. If, I know, Carrie, you're doing Core de Force, I'm doing Core de Force. Just a reminder, anybody else who is doing the program, that there's a contest for the month of November. If you post any videos of yourself doing the program, and make sure you do the hashtag Core de Force and the hashtag contest. Both of them need to be on there to qualify to participate in the contest. And they're picking daily posts to win $1,000. So it's worth it. Who knows if we'll win, but it's worth a shot. So, and then of course we've also got the Team Spirit thing going on this month. Those of you who sign up for that, make sure that every time you're posting something on Instagram or Facebook that you're also including the hashtag Team Beachbody Team Spirit, as well as hashtag Team Go-Getters. That is the team that we joined for our Team Spirit competition. So that's so that we can try to win the team with the most Team Spirit contest. That way, Beachbody is able to see that we're all connected to that team. So every time you make a post, make sure you're also including that. And that way, hopefully, we can rack up some more points. What else? Oh, and for month of November, I'm sure I said this last week, but obviously Core de Force is a brand new program, so that's on sale for $140. And then all the 21-day fix combos and the Country Heat combos are also $140. It appears that a lot of the other programs that were on promotion before have not changed, even though they haven't said that those were promoted this month. But I was just looking today at PIO for a potential customer, and that still says $140. So I don't know. I'm just going to go with it. And, maybe they forgot, or maybe they did it on purpose. Who knows? But I guess that's a good thing. All right, let me share my screen. Okay, so tonight I wanted to talk about all the different types of trainings and get-togethers that we have that you can utilize to help improve your business. So I know Carrie, you, I, and Tass went to the last one together as far as Super Saturdays go. I think these are really great ways to kind of network a little bit with other coaches in the area that aren't necessarily on your own team. I know both you and Tass were doing that a little bit, which is really cool. And it's just like a great way to hear from other successful coaches what they're doing to be successful, and kind of get an inside scoop on what's coming up, what's new as far as corporate goes. They always have their corporate update. And of course, we always do some sort of live workout. It's usually whatever is brand new at the time, which that's always fun too, because sometimes it's before the actual program comes out. And if you hadn't been able to do any sort of sneak peek through Beachbody On Demand, it's a great way to try it out and kind of be able to promote to your potential customer before it's available. So obviously this is held once every 3 months. There's always one in January, April, July, and October. And I don't know if it's a specific Saturday, like the second Saturday, I have no idea. But they always announce when the next one is when you go. So we found out that the next one is Saturday, January 7th. I believe we're probably going to go to the same one we did before in the Central Pennsylvania group, because that was a lot of fun, and they have a really good system there, I thought. But of course, if you live a little bit further away, one thing that you can do is go into your back office, and under the news and training tab, if you click on events there, you can actually search for a Super Saturday that's near you. Okay, so usually whenever somebody is hosting one, they'll register on there. And that way it's a little bit easier for you to find one that's maybe a little bit closer to you. So, but yeah, they're super good events. I mean, we get to learn things that are coming up before anybody else does. So it's kind of like a sneak peek into what Beachbody's putting out there that's brand new. And like I said, the really great training events. And I know that the three of us at the last one really felt a little bit more fired up about our businesses after going as well. So they're definitely really good things to attend. A little bit about team events. So my plan kind of as our team gets a little bit bigger is to start incorporating mini retreats. Now, Chrissy does this with Team Commit Fitness, which we're all also a part of. And I don't know, I don't think, Carrie, you've ever gone to any of them. But usually up in the Poconos, so it's kind of a little bit of a drive. But they're always really fun. Usually we do some sort of workout. I know a couple times she has had us set up at the CrossFit that's near her. One time we did a P90X live workout right outside of her house, like literally in her driveway. So it's just a fun time to get together, work out together. It's sort of somewhat similar to doing a Super Saturday, except it's just your specific team. It's a good way to get together and kind of discuss some goals that you might have as a team. And, oh, hey, Tass. And so I'm thinking at some point I do want to add this into our routine, and maybe it's kind of like the Super Saturday where it's like once every 3 months. And even if it's just, hey, we get together for, pizza and wine or something, and maybe work out before we eat the pizza and wine, but then kind of like a brainstorming session, maybe setting some goals, and that sort of thing. I do want to start incorporating that at some point. So if you guys have any ideas for that, of course, open to that. And then obviously the Zoom calls is something I've started incorporating since I think July I started, right after Summit, because I feel it's kind of a good opportunity for us to get together, once a week, even though we can't be in the same room, to kind of talk about some things and ideas and help you guys with different aspects of your business. So as you guys develop your own teams as well, it's something to keep in the back of your mind that you may want to start doing these sorts of trainings for your teams as well. Of course, I'm going to continue mine, so you're always welcome to invite your coaches to my trainings. I have no problem with that. But it's definitely good to build that relationship with your coaches yourself as well. And maybe it's not necessarily like a team Zoom call, but when you're first signing someone up, sometimes it's a little bit overwhelming because I'm not really sure, how to get set up in their back office. You could literally just do a Zoom call with that one person. I know I did that once with Pat, just to kind of walk him through how to use the back office. So that's just another way to touch base with new coaches when you can't necessarily be right there to hold their hands and walk them through the process. And then, of course, I know, again, the three of us that are on the call right now have done this before. We got together and created a Shakeology sampler party, which we also talked a little bit about the business, about the product, about the Beachbody Challenge. We did some workouts. Those are great ways to get together as a team and to try to recruit new people to join us. I think those are all really good ways, again, just to solidify our goals as a team together. And I think it's really important, again, because we can learn from each other. What is one coach doing that's, maybe creating a little more success than the rest, and how do we duplicate that? So, and then the last thing I wanted to talk about regarding events is the corporate Beachbody events. So, of course, there's Beachbody Summit. I went to my very first one this year in July, and I am registered to go to the next one which is going to be in New Orleans next year, again in July. And those are really amazing opportunities. When you go to a Beachbody Summit, it's literally, last year was about 30,000 coaches from all over the US and Canada that travel to Nashville. So again, it's just a really cool opportunity to network with coaches all over the country. And they have a ton of great training sessions on, just about any topic you could think of, from, the vital behaviors to personal development to telling your story to social media posts. And they're all run by the top coaches in our organization. And I think the one thing that really struck me with that was that they were all just so down to earth, and like they all had this story of like, rags to riches, basically, like starting out, really struggling in a business, and maybe, they lost their job and they were just going to try this and see what happened. Or they were miserable in their job and they wanted to get out of that situation. But it was just really cool to realize that the people that are the most successful in this business all started just where we did. And they're all so nice and like so willing to give advice and help everyone be as successful as them. So I really loved that about Summit. Of course, then you have all the live workouts. There's the opportunity to also do live certification at Summit every year. Basically, any of the live certs that are offered are all offered the day before Summit starts. So I did my P90X live certification there because Tony Horton was going to be there. So that was kind of an incentive for me to do it while I was there. You're much more likely, or I should say, probably like 99% sure that the actual trainer would be there for those certifications at Summit. So that was a really cool experience. And then they always have, they call it the core, which is basically just an enormous like warehouse slash like shopping center of all Beachbody apparel and all the different brands that they have. And it's just really, really cool. And there's normally like an enormous opening ceremony, an enormous closing ceremony with like just unbelievable like music and lights and sound effects and like fireworks and just all this crazy stuff they put together. And it's just a total experience. But if you guys do get the opportunity to do that, I think it's too late to sign up now. You can put yourself on a waiting list if you still wanted to go next year. But I know that last year, people that were on the waiting list didn't find out that they were invited until like, a couple weeks before. So it's kind of cutting it close at this point, but definitely keep that in mind for 2018, which it should be in New Orleans again. They usually do like every 2 years. They do 2 years in each location before they switch it up. So, but yeah, definitely keep that in the back of your mind. Of course, when I go next year, I'll keep you guys all posted on any new things that I learn. But a great, great experience. I definitely recommend it. The next item I have on here is the Success Club trip. So this one is, you basically have to qualify to be able to go on the Success Club trip. For next year, it is Punta Cana. I know Carrie and I are both on the waiting list for that. And the way they did it this year was you had to have so many Success Club points earned at a couple of different benchmarks throughout the year to remain qualified. And then as long as you hit that, it just depends on if other people drop out or quit or say they can't go or whatever. So both of us are still kind of in the wait and see if we're going to actually be invited to go or not. I'm really hoping so, because I think it would be a lot of fun. And just from what I've heard, I've never been on a Success Club trip, but from what I've heard from other coaches who have gone, is again, it's very similar in that all of the trainers are there. It's a little bit smaller, of an event, whereas Summit, like anybody can go. Like I said, there's like 30,000 some coaches that go. Success Club Trip's a little more intimate, so you have more of an opportunity to really network and actually meet some of the super trainers. And they do live workouts and things like that, and training sessions as well. And then I kind of spoke briefly on live certification, but, and I know I've told you guys before how important I think this is to incorporate in your business, even if it's just because you want to understand a program a little bit more, and kind of the research and science behind why it was developed the way it was, so that you can explain it better to a potential customer. Even if you don't ever plan to actually teach it in a live setting, I think it's definitely a good thing to add to your repertoire. And again, those are offered all over the place. You can go into the back office again and search and see what is coming up in your area. And you can also request one. I know we have now kind of a connection to a girl who could potentially set something up for us to do live cert. So that's definitely a good connection to have. Leadership retreats. This is a little bit more exclusive. Basically, the top coaches are getting invited to that. I think you have to be 2-star diamond or higher. Don't quote me on that. I couldn't find the specifics in the back office, but I do follow a couple of top coaches on Instagram, and I know they were just at their most recent leadership retreat, which was in California, and it's like a weekend type getaway and a little more exclusive, talking to the top coaches about how they can continue to expand their businesses. And then, of course, they bring all that information back to their teams. They also got, an exclusive live workout with Joel and Jericho from Core de Force. So I was very jealous watching all their posts. So that's something to strive for if you ever get to that point. And then even more exclusive, the Elite 10 Adventure. So I think the last one, they went to Italy. It's basically the top 10 elite coaches. For that, you have to be a 5-star diamond or higher. And then there's the system of earning elite points, which is kind of complicated, and I don't fully understand it yet because I'm nowhere near that level. But something really cool to strive for. They basically, like corporate, like Carl Deichler, and some of the other guys, Jeff Hill, they take the top 10 elite coaches on an exclusive trip with their spouses. I believe they go along as well. But they were in Italy, the last one. So that's pretty freaking awesome. Of course, once in a while we get invites to, guest speaker type of events. Carrie and I went and saw Carl Deichler down in Philly. And I know they were just talking about the Core de Force, that Joel and Jericho are going down there actually in less than a week, or about a week or so. So things like that are always good to keep your eyes open for if you get the opportunity. Because again, they're a little bit smaller of a setting normally, but it gets you right in front of top coaches and the CEO himself and some of the super trainers. And I always just find it super inspirational. So, and lastly, just make sure you guys, I will admit I'm guilty of sometimes missing the wake up call. I never am on it live just because it's like right in the middle of my day, and Monday is like a nightmare every week at work. So that never happens. But that same number that you would dial in live is the same number for the callback. So if you can't get on at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, no big deal. Definitely try to listen to it, I would say, by like Thursday, because sometimes they put the next one up early. Every once in a while they'll pre-record it and put that up early for the next week. So try to get it in by like Thursday night, I would say. But there's always a lot of good stuff on there too. Again, they usually give you a couple of announcements And that's where Chrissy gets a lot of her stuff from, and she'll post it in Team Commit Fitness before any of us know about it because she was on the wake up call. And of course, they announce anybody who's had major rank advancements. So these are like the star diamond levels. So that would be really cool to hear our names announced on there someday. And then they normally have a guest speaker as well, talking about whatever topic is relevant. It's usually some sort of top coach, or when there's a new program, they'll have a super trainer on to talk about it. I know Autumn's been on. Joel and Jericho were on like 2 weeks ago. This last one was just a top coach talking about how she got started, and she talked a little bit about the vital process that we covered at Super Saturday. So just another way for you to get some training from the leaders at the top. I think that's all I really wanted to cover on that. But like I said, there's so many opportunities for you guys to get training, not just from me, for people who have been doing this a lot longer and are much more successful at it, have gone through and made all the mistakes that we maybe haven't gotten to yet, and they've learned from them and they've figured out a system that works. So it's really cool to kind of get perspective on what everyone else is doing. And everybody has their own system too. So that's another thing I like about going to these sorts of things, because you kind of get a little piece from this person and a little piece from that person and say, oh, I think that would work for me, but maybe this won't. But maybe if I take a piece from what this coach is doing and add that to my system, I kind of make it my own. So it's just all about sharing ideas and figuring out what works for you. All right, so let me unshare this now. And I'm going to unmute you guys. Okay. Do you guys have any questions?
What was the hashtag? Sorry, what was the hashtag for the Team Spirit that post on Instagram again?
Oh, for the Team Spirit? There's two of them that you have to include. The first one is hashtag Team Beachbody Team Spirit, kind of long. And then the second one is hashtag Team Go Getters. It's G-O and then Getters.
Okay.
Yep. That's just so hopefully we can win the Team Spirit Award. All right, I've got like 3% left on my battery, so that's all I got for you guys tonight. I will post this in the group shortly. All right.
Thanks,
Yeah.